So last week, actually this week, I started the Gameworld training, Gameworld Builder Training with Anne-Chloe Destremau and a group of 29 other Gameworld builders, 28 or 29. And one of the things that I'm discovering that is so impactful and that has been in like just devastating and like actually crushing of my fantasy world of what I think it's like to build a game world is that my game world starts where I am. My game world starts where I am right here, right now. And my game world starts in my center. I have been building game worlds for the last 4 years, and they have been somewhere up in the future in my imagination, me working out, creating things on the computer or on paper about different maps and different organizations of people, different organization processes of taking one thing from one place to another, and the result that I have been getting from that is that they haven't really been working. In paper it looks good, in even when I talk about it, it sounds good, but they haven't been manifesting the people that are necessary to be playing inside of the game world have not been showing up. They and then this is this is pointing out to this thing that I am not there is something that I'm doing in the way that I'm building my game worlds that is not working. By the way, a game world is a structure or a system where human beings play or interact. So anything where human beings are interacting, that can be called a game world. Human beings interact through game worlds, and this is part of game world theory and seeing the different places where you interact with other people as game world. So as I'm been building game worlds for the last 4 years about organizing communities, how people can work together and collaborate together, and also a little bit on this part of the human waste. I've created a system for uh, working with organic human waste, with pee and poo, and how to use that precious material for regenerating the soil and growing food, and even using it as fuel. But the things that all of these game worlds have been, I've been created in my head, and they sound amazing, but they haven't been really landing in reality. And in reality, what is stopping those game worlds from coming to life is more closer to where I am right now. So if you have been trying to create systems or even yeah, like places for people to interact, spaces for where people can play or collaborate or do things together, like community villaging and things of this sort, then and if those things haven't been working, is perhaps a an opportunity for you to look closer to where you are right now. In my case, I for the things that are not working is like the communication part. Like I I have the skills to create the organization, but I don't have the skills to be in reality with these people. I don't have the skills to be with these people and create these things together. I don't have the skills to land a context to say, I have this game world. I This is how it goes. Do you want to play? And creating that doorway for my being to be the space where that game world happens. So for my being to be that space where I'm attracting other beings who have a similar question and a similar calling in life to come to play in my game world. Uh, so this led to this other thing that's closer to me of talking with people. What is happening that I'm not communicating my game world? What is happening that I don't know how to land the necessity, or connect with other people's necessity that this game world is fulfilling. And then this is where my next step is. So my game world is not this ideal of what I have, of the village. For example, the village that I want to build, my game world is not that organization, and it might be in the future. But while I'm going in an inward journey about the skills that I need to do now for getting to build the next part of my game world, there is transformation happening. I get closer to my heart, closer to like blockages, wounds from my childhood, things that happened in the past that are actually the things that are in the way of why why my game world is not happening. So this is already transformational. Going into this thing is devastating, is heartbreaking, is frustrating. A lot of the time, I will give up or say like I can't do this, or just move on to the next project, and then move on to the next project. And when that one didn't work, I will move on to the next project. And all of these are different patterns that, when I examine the deeper pattern of why none of these systems are working, why are they not taking flight, why are they not sprouting and growing, it reveals some inner stuff. Like it really, like, it puts you to the test of, okay, what are you really made out of? Why is that really important for you? What is your necessity for this game world to exist? What is this really about? And it gets deeper and deeper into your necessity for that thing to exist. and and this creates transformation. So the vision that you have in the future, it almost becomes irrelevant, because that necessity that you have for your game world to exist is right here and right now. It's in your heart, it's in your body, it's in your being, it's in your DNA, or your soul, whatever you want to call it. And so it's this distinction, it was so powerful to me to discover it this week, because it made those ideas of what I was creating in documents, in the computer, in Excel sheets, and in maps, and all this stuff almost irrelevant. Even it made it more about, how do I get land here in the reality, in here and now, and talk to somebody else about what I'm creating. Invite somebody else to be part of it, or invite somebody else to play in it, or to give me feedback and coaching about what I'm creating. And so this is the journey of, how do you go from having this idea inside of you of what you want to create. And I'm talking to you, game world builder out there who is watching. You are a game world builder if you're watching this, that you have your seed. And how do you take that seed from being your seed of your creation of a regenerative organization, a regenerative game world, something that is going to help not just the outer system but the inner systems regenerate? And how do you take that from being a seed to sprouting and to growing into being something bigger than you, something that other people are playing in it? There is other core players that now are holding space for this game world. And then your game world is not just you in your mind, or in your efforts of creating and pushing this thing forward and trying to make it work. And and it becomes, how do you and becomes this ecosystem, where there is different parts and different pieces, and there is a more complexity to it. And it starts growing and sustaining by itself. It starts running and evolving, and there's different parts, and it's no longer your thing. And that this is one of the qualities of a regenerative game world, that uh, it has this part where it's not just you, it's not just your project and your baby that you control and you take wherever you want and you tell it how to go. It's not your pet. It's like this is a life that you are giving and that you're creating and you're putting into the world for it to extend even beyond your death. Even when you're dead, this will continue evolving and regenerating and creating more regeneration. And the question that I am now is like, okay, what are the changes that I need to create inside of myself to become more a regenerative ecosystem? What are the parts where I can invite more people to play? And what are the parts where I'm blocking other people from coming and playing in this game? So if this is where you're at, this is the question for you is, okay, what is the where are you at right now in building your game world? Have you already tried putting it out there? Have you already invited people to play in it? Do you have a team that gives you feedback and coaching about your game world? Have you already tried to land the distinction and the context of what your game world is and how do you play in it? So these are some of the invitations for you to go deeper into that question. And if you already have a game world that's built and that's running and that has people playing inside of it, then it comes to this question: is like, is your game world regenerative? Is it has this sense that is going to replace you, or that is going to oversee you, that when you after you're dead, is it going to keep running, or is it just going to die? And what are the regenerative qualities of that game world that you're creating? So if these are some interesting questions to you and you want to learn more about this, I'm going to leave some resources in the description. There is gameworldbuilders.mystrikingly.com. You can go to StartOver.xyz, and there is immense amount of resources for exploring game world theory, how to build your game world, game world builder trainings, and there is lots of recordings on YouTube channel about building game worlds. And this is a really fascinating space for discovering. There is people out there who are already building game worlds, regenerative game worlds, and who want other people to play with. uh, if you're interested in working with me with this, I have a team that is running right now. We meet once a week, and every week we focus our team efforts into one person, into one project, one team member, and we channel like all of our resources to help that team member build their regenerative project. What can we do to support your regenerative project? What do you need right now? What is your next doorway? Where are you at? Where are you blocked? How can we support you in your next step? And then in the week after, we switch to the next team member, and this is how we keep a rotation, and we make this like this regenerative process. So if you're wanting to join a team like this, send me a message, a team, make a comment, and I will see it. And other than that, I think that's all for today, and thank you for listening. I will keep sharing more from my journey with the Gameworld Builder training, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you for watching.